Welcome back for another tutorial. Today we are in video number 4 of our holiday stocking series. This is the 4th one. Oh my goodness, I've been working my butt off getting these out because I am just that excited about the holiday season. But today we're going to be making a bone stocking. This is very popular. All the stores sell them. So if that means they sell them, then we should be making them. How cute is this? Now this pattern comes in 3 different sizes, a small, medium, and large. So if you like to buy your fur baby a little bit of stuff or a lot of bit of stuff, we have you covered with any size stocking that you need. If you have a big doggy, make the big ones. If you have a little doggy, make the little one. How cute is this one in Sherpa? I'm obsessed. I love this so much. But not only that, the stocking itself has a lot of real estate. So it is a great opportunity to be able to do some embroidery, some applique, maybe a beautiful bow, or even maybe do some HDV vinyl, put their name on it. So cute and so easy to make. So if you are a beginner, you're just learning how to sew and you're like, I don't know if I can make this. I just want you to know that I cater to beginner audiences. I walk you through step by step how to make all of my patterns because I want to make sure that everybody can be able to achieve success. So that means that I have this video tutorial, and then when you buy the pattern over at my Etsy shop, there will be a full photographic tutorial as well, written instructions, so that whichever way you learn, you're able to achieve success and be able to make beautiful stockings for your family this holiday season. Now, before we dive into the tutorial, I do want to go over the last 3 videos of the stocking series and those stockings because, I can't leave them out. You need to check them out. They're super cute depending on whoever is in your family. So if you want to skip ahead to the tutorial, just know that there are chapters down below or along the timeline. You can skip ahead and get straight to sewing. But for now, let's check out these really fun stockings. Now, since we're in the realm of fur babies, I need to show you this adorable little fishy one. So we're making the bone today. But how cute if you have a little feline friend to make a little fishy bone, a fishy and a bone stocking. How cute is this? I love it. This one is just, it needs something though, right? It needs like an eyeball or a name or a bow or something. But of course that's up to you to decide. I give you the basic shape, almost looks like a fishy cracker. So if you're, if you have a kid who's into fishing, they might like this too. Doesn't have to just be for cats. It can be for anyone. But I think this one is super cute. So I definitely highly recommend you check this one out. And then we also have the classic toe bean stocking. How cute is that with the little toe bean appliques, which again, I teach you how to do. These are very easy. It's very easy to do. I will teach you. Don't worry if you're new to this sort of applique. But how sweet is that? Now, I know not everybody only has fur babies. Some people actually have real babies. So, we have to think about the rest of the family, right? And because of that, we of course have your classic stocking pattern, because who doesn't want a perfect stocking for themselves or for anyone else? And maybe this year, mom gets something in her stocking this year. Mom's going to make them, and then maybe someone else will fill them, right? Did you see those trending where it says that mom never gets anything in her stocking? Wouldn't it be fun to make this for your mom and then fill it because mom never gets anything in her stocking? But of course you need to have the classic shape because depending on if you want to do some fur or Sherpa at the top, this is going to be perfect. But the great thing about this pattern, it's the only one you're ever going to need to buy because it has 3 different sizes and 3 different cuff variations. So this is the number 1. This is number 2. This one is the most popular one. You're going to find this one in all the stores, Pottery Barn, Anthropology, all those Richie places. The scallop. Everybody loves the scallop. It is the best one, in my opinion. I love it. These are the ones that I'm going to be keeping for myself because it is so cute. I love it. Scallop is in. You can see everywhere. I've seen scallop tree skirts too. I was like, holy moly. And the last one, the last little cuff is the super cute pointed trim cuff. This is more like an elfish vibe, and it is so adorable. It kind of gives you that, you know, traditional Christmas elfish stocking. I love all three of those. You can mix and match. You can do all one, whatever you want to do. So I hope that you check out all of these patterns. Remember that all of them come with small, medium, and large sizes. So depending on if you're a big gift giver or a little gift giver, no judgments. You will have a stocking for whichever person or fur baby in your life. So now that we've gone through that, let's jump into the tutorial, and we're going to sew up a little bone. Okay, so we cut out our pattern. We have our pattern piece here. I went ahead and used some cotton fabric for the lining, and I'm using a fleece for the exterior. And I also have my hook loop that is also fleece. So I just wanted to make sure, since we still have the pattern handy, that there are two markings here, and that is for the opening of the stocking. You're going to want to mark on your fleece and also the interior fabric. So the first thing we're going to do is, with our hook loop, we're going to fold it in half lengthways with the right sides together, and we will clip that into place. This pattern is a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, so we're going to go ahead and do a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance along the raw edge. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and sew that. Tack our stitches at the beginning. Okay, then we're going to get a turning tool, and I'm just going to slip that down, and we're going to flip this right sides out. So I'm just going to hook it into the end, and then carefully pull, and then we have our little hook loop. So I'm just sticking my bone folder down inside of it just to kind of flatten it out. If you want to center the seam into the back, and then when you fold it in half, then you won't see the seam at all. But we just want to like make it nice and flat. Because this is fleece, it doesn't really press. So just kind of, even just stick a book on it and just flatten it. And that is all we need to do with this. So I'm just going to fold this in half, and I'll place a clip at the end, and now we can move on to the rest of our stocking. Okay, so we have our exterior fabric here. This is the right side, so I'm going to just kind of flip it around, and we're going to put the two front and back with the right sides together. Now we have the markings. We just want to make sure that those are correct. You can do this now also. You don't have to wait until, or you don't have to do it immediately, but. And that's good. Okay. Now I'm going to use pins to pin this together. Fleece is a little bit shifty, so we want to make sure that it is nice and lined up all the way around. Now, the reason why I did fleece on the exterior and cotton on the interior is I'm using the cotton almost like a little bit of an interfacing. Because it's a little bit more stiffer, it will allow my stocking to have some shape. If you wanted to do fleece for the interior and exterior, it might kind of it might not hold its shape. So if you have it hanging up on your mantle, you might not be able to see that it's a bone unless you put things in it. And if your pets are anything like mine, I have to wait until Christmas Eve to put their things in it because they know and they can smell it. So if you want to be able to appreciate the shape, then I would consider either the exterior fabric be something that has a little bit more structure to it, or at least use a cotton fabric for the interior. But I really like the fleece for the pet stockings because I think it's cute and soft, and yeah. So now we're just going to take our tie and we're going to actually tuck that in between the layers. Now we have our notch here, but we're going to tuck it kind of like this, where it's like angled towards the inside of the stocking. I'm going to use a bigger clip because this fleece is fairly thick. So just be mindful that it is quite thick in this area, so you might need to use a stronger needle to get through all of the layers. If you're not able to, then make your tie out of maybe a lining fabric or cotton, something thinner, or you can use a ribbon, maybe a crushed velvet, or a grosgrain, just something like 1 inch wide that you can slip in there, and then that will keep that easier to sew depending on the sewing machine that you have. So next we're going to sew all the way around the whole exterior stocking. But we're going to stop at each notch and we're going to leave that open. That's the opening to our stocking. Now, before we do that, we're going to go ahead and repeat with the interior fabric. So again, now you might see that I have some staining here. I actually put this in the wash with something red and ruined it, but don't throw that fabric out because it is great for lining. So that's what I'm using it for. No one's gonna see that I totally destroyed this fabric one time. And it's still Christmassy. Okay, so now we're lining up all of our edges and we can pin that into place. You can see there how bad it is. Oh, I can't believe I did that. I don't remember what I did. I think I just put like a red fabric that I just bought, so it leached all over this beautiful fabric. Okay, just like that. Now, we're gonna do the same thing with the sewing, but we are going to be leaving a gap along one of the straight edges because we want to be able to turn this right sides out. So I'm just gonna show you visually that this is where we're going to create a hole. So you're just going to stop, back tack, and then restart on the other side. This is going to allow us to flip the whole thing right sides out when we're done, and then you're not going to see any raw edges for your beautiful stocking. And we're also going to leave the opening of the stocking open at these notches. Okay, let's go sew it up. Okay, we're going to start at the notch. And starting back stitch. Okay, if you feel, depending on the tie, if it is a woven tie, you might want to pull it out a little bit just to give you some extra security so that it doesn't get ripped out from years of use and, you know, pulling and having heavy items inside the stocking. So it's okay to have a little bit hanging out. And thankfully I have a size 10 needle. I was able to get through all those layers of fleece, no problem. And we're just going to keep going with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And we're going to stop at that last notch at the top. We're going to continue with the interior fabric in the same way. And when we get down to that notch, this is the hole that we're leaving for turning. We're going to stop, back stitch, and then we will keep going, locking our stitches, back stitch, and then keep going. And it's okay to increase your seam allowance a little bit with the lining, because it actually helps the lining to sit better on the inside of the exterior stocking. But don't do it in reverse. Make sure that if you are going to increase your seam allowance, it's only in the stocking and not in the, in the interior and not in the exterior. Oh, I got some flipped up fabric. But make sure that your seam allowance stays the same at the notch over here, just so that that part sits nicely. All right, just like that. Okay, so now we're just going to remove our pins. And I'm going to grab my scissors and my pinking shears, and wherever there's an inside curve, we're just going to cut little triangles or slits, and this is going to help the fabric relax so that that inside curve will lay flat. Now you could pink these corners, but they won't be as close to the stitches. You want to get fairly close, but just be careful that you don't cut the stitches. And you can see that my fabric was a little bit shifty in some areas, but that's okay. So because this is fleece, I don't necessarily need to cut down the seam allowance too much. It doesn't fray, so you don't necessarily need to use the pinking shears. But if you are using the cotton fabric or anything that's woven, I highly recommend using the pinking shears, especially around those curved edges. Now with the inside stocking, you don't necessarily need to notch out these inside corners because it will technically still be inside out once it's been installed into your exterior stocking. So we're just cutting down the bulk and then preventing the fraying for the cotton fabric. Don't pink where the hole has been left for turning because we want the extra fabric to be able to close up the hole after. I usually just do the curved areas. Okay. And it's gonna get a little bit messy. So now we're gonna take the exterior and I'm going to flip that right sides out. And you can get your iron warmed up if you want to press this nice and flat and beautiful. You can do that with the fleece. It does press, but it doesn't press well enough when you're dealing with like super thick areas like that tie. But okay, we can see. Now if you need to go in with something like a bone folder or a knitting needle, you can go inside and massage your seams to make everything lay beautiful and flat. Just like that. And we have our little tie there. Make sure that the tie is kind of in the direction you want to go. If you wanted it to be more on an angle, you can, you know, change the positioning, but I think that looks good. And yeah, now we're going to take our lining, open it up from where the opening of the stocking is, and we're going to take our exterior and we're going to slip it right down on the inside. It doesn't have to be perfectly inserted. I just need the top part to be inserted nicely so that we can line up the opening of the stocking. Now the side seams, there's, you know, the last stitch on each of the interior and exterior. You just want to kind of put those together, and then you can pin that, and then we can just kind of start following the shape of the stocking. Just like that. You can go back and do the other side. Find the 2 stitches, put them together, and then pin. Okay. And then I'll do the other side. And just be careful if you are using pins. You can use clips too. I find it easier to pin those 2 side seams, so that's why I'm using pins. But now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew the opening of our stocking. Okay, so now we're going to put this in our machine. Now, if your machine has a free arm, then you can take off that section of your machine and you can actually slip this onto your machine. It'd be a lot easier to sew. I am sewing with a Janome MC 6700P. It doesn't have a free arm like that, so I'm not able to do that. So if you have the same kind of idea as me, then we're just going to go from the inside and not poke ourselves with the stitches, or sorry, with the needles. Okay, and we're going to start sewing a 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Now when you get over to the side seam, you're going to try to get to those stitches, you know, the side seam stitches, get close to there, and then we'll continue on. It's hard to tell with the fleece. So you can kind of see there is a stitch there. Just kind of get right on top of it. All right, just like that. Okay, so now we have our stocking opening nicely sewn. Just inspect it, make sure it all looks good. Inspect the outer area as well, that you caught all of your layers, so that when you do go to flip it, you don't have to flip it back outside and redo it. So now I'm just gonna reach in, pull no, I'm not going to do that. We're going to go in through the hole that we left for turning. Wait, it's on this side. Go in there. Okay. And then now I just made things harder. Pull the stocking out. Just like that. Flip that right sides out. And then you can take that and you can shove that in. Carefully. All right, and then we're just going to kind of fix the interior stocking bit. We don't need to fix it too much because we do have to pull it out anyways, but if you want to place that stocking in, you know, inspect your work. There we go. And like I said, that cotton adds some structure to the fleece, so I really like that. Just like that. So now you can see the opening there. You almost can't even see it, which is great. That's what we want. And now we can pull out the lining, and we're just going to tuck in the raw edges of that hole, and we're going to do a top stitch. So we'll just kind of clip that. Just do like a top stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. You can do matching thread. You can do a blind hand stitch, but at the end of the day, it's going to be in the stocking. No one's going to see it, and I'm not going to judge you. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just tucking it back on the inside, making sure everything is beautiful and set in. Now, if you wanted to do a top stitch along the opening, you can do that if you want. I don't find that it's necessary, especially since once things are inside the stocking, you know, the lining isn't going to be popping out, and I really think it looks best just like this. So cute. I love it. And I'm just going to show you two other variations made out of this beautiful corduroy and then made out of this adorable Sherpa. Okay, and we're done. How adorable did your little bone stocking turn out to be? I am absolutely obsessed, and I am going to definitely use my Cricut and do some HTV and put Blue's name on this because I think it's going to be super cute. So if you did make this, I would love to see it. If you have a fur baby and that is the new proud owner of the stocking, please send me a photo over on social media or write a review under the pattern if you do decide to buy it, and leave a photo of your fur baby and their new stocking for this holiday season. And yeah, but that's it for the last installment of the stocking series. Or is it? I have the wheels turning in my head, so this might not be the last one for me. So stick around, stay subscribed, check back. I will let you know over on social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye guys!